I got double content, like I'm ready to go. So we're good. And so let's see what the learning objectives are, right? So after completing this module, you'll be able to describe the benefits of transaction security, explain what policies, actions, and notifications are, and state use cases for transaction security. And this challenge is a question challenge, so we can't do it again. Whoops, let me go back. But here's a trick to do it again, or at least see what they are. Put this. Completing this module, you'll be able to describe the benefits of transaction security. Hush, boy. All right. One of the things I've found, I can open this in I'm going to take this, copy it, open it in incognito browser. And then I can look at the questions. So one of the things we can look at is, so when it's a question module, it's a good idea to like look at the questions first, so you can kind of tune your mind in. This is a study tip. So you can tune your mind in to like what to pay attention to, because it'll be on the question, right? So what are the benefits of transaction security? Just it matches with the learning objective. And which components can you configure? And then we'll look at it. So we're going to look at probably notifications and actions, probably not severity level, my guess. What are the benefits? You can select events to monitor. And you can select actions to take. Sounds right. And you can secure your bank account transactions. Well, that looks kind of stupid. I don't think Salesforce has anything to do with your bank account transactions. So I'm just guessing it's A and B. And C, we'll find out if it's A and B or B and C. Security level, actions, and notification method. Maybe we'll do that. So back to the learning objectives. What is transaction security? Let me, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to go and I'm going to increase my screen. So I found, so when you're the admin, you're juggling users, apps, objects, reports, everything else. Now your manager adds one more task to that list. Make sure no one is using an unsupported browser. And on top of that, someone from IT asks you to prevent users from exporting reports with more than 1,000 records on them. Okay. Then a security officer asks you to set up an alert that notifies him when someone runs reports containing sensitive data. How are you supposed to keep tabs on all this? Well, you use transaction security. It monitors Salesforce events. So that's what, there's also, remember that it goes back to permissions. So Salesforce events are things that are, remember, they're also triggers for automation, like platform events. Like when you get an email, there's two things that happen when you get an email. You get the event called email received, and then you have the email itself, right? You have an appointment, and then you have the appointment itself. You have a report that's been exported, and then you have the export itself. So those, I think they're separating the events and how you can track and monitor that. So with security, you can create policies that consist of events, notifications, and actions, not security level. And we'll talk about that. We'll go back when we look at the test. An event is anything that happens in Salesforce, including user clicks, record state changes, and measuring values. Events are immutable and timestamps. I don't know what immutable means off the top of my head. I have an idea of it.
It's basically unchangeable.
Unchanging over time or unable to be changed. I like immutable. Okay, good. It's good. So that means no effing around, right? So when you're creating a policy, you first pick a transaction or event, and then you choose the actions that are triggered. So it's a trigger and behavior. So it's, again, back to the rule of automation: true triggers behavior or true triggers action. So that data occurs, and then these rules that are called policies and they're created for many use cases, and you can extend them with Apex for customized protection. To use transaction security, you have to, that's why I've never seen it. You have to purchase Salesforce Shield or Salesforce Shield Event Monitoring add-on subscription. So if you want that kind of control, you need money to add to it, besides paying us advanced admins to do it. The other thing is there are permissions that if you don't, like, this is a granular level, but if you don't want to pay the extra, I'm just going to put it out there that, you know, you can just take the permission away that people can export reports and then make them run through a process. And, you know, if you're worried about your data or not having people subscribe to reports, which give away your data too, right? Allowing users to export reports can create a security risk. I don't care how many records, right? But
yeah, that's bogus. Like,
what do you mean?
1,000 records or 10,000 records. You can export it 10 times.
Right. You just create.
It's like the TSA liquids rule. Like if I want 10 gallons of water in the airport, I'll just go through 50 times and there's nothing to stop me.
Or you could do what Bert Kreischer says he does. Or no, the guy from Howard Stern, the drinker, one of the guys on Howard Stern takes a quart-sized baggie and he can fit 10 vodka travel bottles in that 1 ounce bottles, and he can carry 3 of those. I'm like, the guy's just gonna get hammered, right? So yeah, you're right. So I've exported 1,000 records 10 times in an organization before. And if you've ever done report snapshots, they're not really shoots, but snapshots, you've had to limit your report filters so that you have less than 2,000 records per snapshot. And a good target for that is somewhere around like 1,500 or 1,200, depending on the criteria. You got to manage that because the max number of records for a report snapshot is 2,000 records. So all those little things that Salesforce sells you, but then tells you, unless you want to do more of it. I'm trying to get centered on my camera because, you know, let me know if you can still hear me well enough. There we go. Email stored USB drive misplaced. So if you want to keep users from downloading data, who cares if it's large volume or not? You need to create a policy for the report event. Just take away the permission. You know what? You got to know this stuff to take the test, right? But in reality, if you don't want, I'm putting the Dominic's spin on it with the Patrick endorsement. And of course, Chen is just smiling. So we know she's happy about it. Just don't give them the permission to do it. Don't give them the permission to do something a little that you don't want to do a lot. That's stupid. Either do or do not do, right? As a practical application. But for the test, know that it's 1,000 rows, right? Or whatever. It's a policy that you create and you set the parameters.
Well, there is you know, the great saying, I used to do a little and a little wouldn't do it, so a little got more and more. And now
I've never heard that.
Now your recording is going to get taken down for copyright infringement.
Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate your contribution. Please ban Patrick.Mark. Anyway. So what
you've never heard that?
I've never heard that.
Guns N' Roses?
Is that wait, what song is that?
Mr. Brownstone.
Huh. No, it turns out.
So yes, no. Exporting reports is like heroin.
Oops. Exporting reports is like heroin? Once you get addicted to it,
if you let them do a little, they're going to do a lot.
They're going to do a lot. Okay. Oh, I kind of remember that
just
now.
So just say no.
Just say no. So let's look at the help doc real quick. I put it in our notes. And then it looks like we have a Jenny. We have a Jenny. All right. So one of the things, again, remind you about help docs is it tells you a lot about what it is you're looking at in terms of through the eyes of the edition, And then the permissions needed to run that feature, which is always good to know. Why won't it do the share thing? So you can do condition builder or Apex. It looks like there's an event object with different types of events. There's API events, API anomaly, bulk API, credential stuffing, event store, hilarious. List view event. Well, that's interesting. A login event, permission set event store, whatever that is. I guess store is just what they in their name. Permission set event. Another one, report event, report anomaly, session hijacking event. Huh. Interesting. Lots of fun stuff to read. Never done it. And you need, remember, you need to buy a subscription to even use this. So my threshold of confidence that this will be on the test as an advanced admin is low. What do you think?
I would guess that there is probably at least a couple.
Jenny, what did you say? I heard Patrick.
Sorry, low. I don't think it'll be on the test.
No, because it requires an an add-on subscription, and they probably are taking us through this trailhead so that you'll want to buy the add-on. I'm just giving credit to marketing, and I'm giving them credit for being what I would do, which is clever. Giving them credit, plug. Right?
Yeah.
But giving them credit for this. All right. So there's events, right? API, list view, login, and report events are probably the main ones. If they do ask anything about it, that'll probably be the policy when we go look at it. And when we do the exercise, you can select which actions to take, like stopping it, require a higher level of assurance, do nothing, opt in. I love do nothing as an action. Like, why would you bother if you're going to do? I know it can be useful for testing, but who's got time to test, right, Jenny? Like, admins are so busy. You just got to get stuff done. All right. You can do a lot with Transact security. We focus on important security use case, preventing a large data export. So a use case is if they need to view reports and export data, you want to ensure they're not exporting large amounts of data from reports. That helps minimize the risk of leaking sensitive, competitive, or proprietary data. And the condition builder would create a policy that would block that export, which they would, if they're half smart, they'll figure it out. And then obviously more complex. So I'm going to add these little videos to the help doc that you guys are see if that helps too, if you want to check that out. But the quiz was complete, and I opened up the quiz in an incognito browser. So if you haven't taken it yet, let's see, what are the benefits? You can select events to monitor. You can select actions to take in real time, and you can secure your bank account transactions. Of course, we know that's not it. So we know it's A and B. And which components can you configure? It said the actions, but I don't remember seeing the components you can configure. Block. So it looks like the answer is just B, because it doesn't talk about security. The policy would the policy tell you the security level? No, I think it's solid with types of enhance. Let's look at the actions and notifications and see. So it's got to be actions and notifications, because that's.
It is it's the last option, B and C.
BC, right? It's got to be that. So because That's what the help desk says. So
It
I'm
is
not
bad,
giving away the
yeah.
answer. I'm just reading it. Yeah, because security level, they didn't even mention security level in the trail. So that's redonkuloso. All right. Any questions on getting started with it? Everybody feel like they got the answer, like they know what they need?
Which trail is this, please?
We're in the
We'll
enhanced
put it in the
transaction
notes.
security trail.
Okay, I have to read it.
I'll put it in
I'm
the
sorry.
chat. It's okay. It's in the help.
Thank
It's
you.
also in the document.
right. The notes.
Thanks. Yeah, the notes one. And
Okay.
I'm
I'll
looking
go
at
to
it.
the notes one when I get back. And
Yeah, because you're on your mobile. I got it. No problem.
I'm
Look,
sorry.
I didn't complete my
my
homework either. So I'm killing a little time before we get to the one I didn't complete next. That's how busy of a week it's been. And that I don't know if I got anything done. Anyway, so let's look at the real quick. Let's just take a look at the end and see what the, all right. So this one's going to be a challenge. So for this one, I can go to that Policia. Is that how you say it in Spanish? Policia. I retake the challenge. So we got to take a look at it and see. All right. So now we can go through the trailhead. So we're going to enable it and we're going to use the condition builder to define, edit, enable. Did anybody finish this already besides me in March when I was busy doing something else?
Well, I did this part, and then I didn't do the next one in mine because I was like, I don't want to do it.
I got
Sorry.
you. That's okay. Look, so this one's got a warning, and I always ignore warnings because safety third has been my motto for most of my life. But it says use a trailhead playground. Don't do this and don't be dumb about it. This is one of those things where if you don't read the warnings, good for you. They want us to create a new trailhead playground. I'm not doing that. I'm going to use mine. I'm going to take the chance. So we're going to go to setup and we're going to go to transaction security policy. So we're good there. Oh, man. If Salesforce got a dime for every pop-up message they put, they would double their revenue in a heartbeat. It's like at some point, how many, why can't I turn them off is my problem, right? Take this page and I got it, buddy. I don't need to see it anymore. Take this page and
Salesforce and revenue.
What's that?
I'm actually impressed by the number of users who are capable of outright ignoring those.
Isn't it amazing what the users can actually do?
I mean, I've been on calls where I'm trying to troubleshoot something for a user and the pop-up is blocking half the screen and they don't close it. And also don't read it.
Oh, you mean like on a YouTube video, this is something I'll put on a recording. I give a thumbs down on every YouTube video I see where they're in classic in the setup menu and they leave the banner, right? They leave the banner like I got that much screen on my laptop that I can afford to leave a banner. Like I can't stop Salesforce from advertising, but you can close the banner. I try to train end users on that all the time. It is amazing. You're right. They just ignore it. It's how do you ignore the screen? Oh.
Not only do they ignore it, but they don't read it.
No. And or my favorite when I teach people to RTS is that you ask them, what was the error message? I don't know. I closed it. Like, you should read it. Oh, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to close it. Like they either close it so fast they never saw it, or they leave it on the screen and never read it. It is amazing. All right. So I am So I enabled it. Yay. We're going to create a policy. We're going to use condition builder because I'm not touching Apex. Are you touching Apex? I'm not. So let's see what it is that we got to create.
You're gonna have to for the next challenge.
What's that?
You're gonna have to for the next challenge.
I got to do Apex for the next challenge.
Yeah, it's a simple one.
If they tell me what to do, I can follow instructions, but I cannot.
Oh.
I cannot resolve myself to learn Apex yet.
Me either. Don't
I'll
feel
get
bad.
it after I get 9. After I get my 10 certs, my 11th cert
Yeah.
will be PD1.
Developer 1.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, I'm
Me
just going to
too.
say I've already learned something in this class.
What's that?
I've learned that Dominic can follow instructions.
When I have to. All right. Let's see what so all conditions, the condition is rows processed, value 10. Oh, that's what I would do. So this would be rows processed is greater than 10. Now that's a fair number, right? Like I can agree with that. Equals report exported. Okay. Oh yeah. And did I miss it? Oh, operation. I totally missed it. I went to the second part, not the operation equals. Huh.
Report exported.
Yep, I see it. There we go. That's our 2 and conditions. I love it. All your basic skills, then what you do. Then want to block it. Do we have to create a new message? Block large report downloads policy. Hilarious. So I want an email notification. Wait, what user did I select? Oh, select a user. Oh, so I'm notifying somebody in the company because only me. And then I'm going to name it. I'm going to have to do a description. Should always do a description. And we're going to leave it disabled for now, just for now. So I want to make an edit. Oh, this is crazy. So edit. Notice the current condition, block 10 or more rows. I got to do 1,000, but I think 10 is totally appropriate. Let them export 10 at a time. If you're paying for the service, by God, make it useful, right? Make the addict work for it. If somebody's, I mean, I didn't want to type in, but you got to do it exactly. Here's a little trick for Trailhead. If you're a badge hunter, you got to make it exact. Otherwise, it's not going to do you any good. Enable,
Learn that from the school of hard knocks.
right?
You spend 6 hours on a stupid trail and find out you missed an underscore.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so now let's see if I can edit it while it's still in, because now I got to go back to 10. And you got to change the name to prevent large. And then it's got to be enabled. So we're good there. That ought to be. Yep. And then if I check that challenge, I'm not going to earn another 500 points, but there it is. So check it and see if anybody any questions or comments. Jenny, you're just watching, correct? Or listening?
I'm just listening. I'm going to have to do it
And I'm
tonight
broadcasting
and hope
live
I
on
remember.
YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel. Uh-oh.
Yeah, make sure you do that, please.
It is. It's happening. Oh, I didn't hit done. Stupid Salesforce. Sometimes Salesforce is stupid. So I got block, report event, email notification. Make sure I got it right because I didn't hit done. Turns out you got to hit done. 10, report, actions, block, print, done. Now, you got to complete the exercise before you can check the exercise. Turns out computers are obedient.
Yeah, I tried to skip it last time and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Computers are obedient because they do exactly what they're told. What? We can't find the expected conditions in the prevent line. What are my operational conditions? Greater than 10. Greater than 10. You know what? I'm going to disable it because I used the same one instead of redoing it. So I'm going to see if that does it. It's really funny that the only thing they changed is the name of it. I hate that sometimes it doesn't like play well. I can't edit this from the live, but I can move on if I need to. Prevent large report. There's my policy. Prevent large report download. Maybe I did something when I rows process greater than 10. Is that correct? Oh, greater than or equal. Oh my duh. Really? Salesforce? Greater than or equal? When that happens, it reminds me of a particular person whom I'm not going to name, but I really don't like in the Trailhead Academy staff. She's the kind of person that would make that distinction as a policy. I'm not going to mention her name. Oh, did I say it was a her? I don't know if it's her or not. I don't know what her pronouns are. So now we got to do an apex. All right. All right. So we're going to do one in apex. Be careful. Does put all complex branching, blah, blah, blah. Let's say you want to create. The exclusion user data steward profile may need export. Okay. Blah. So we're going to create the apex policy. And then we'll see how that goes. Prevent
I'm
large
already
data.
surprised that this is an advanced admin trail because it pertains to Apex policy. But I'll know when I read it. I read it tonight.
Well, we're gonna, yeah. Well, I'm gonna copy all this code, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste because I can do that in Apex. So
right.
Let's see what we got to do. We got to. I'm just going in. I'm not. The user doesn't have the data steward profile. So I mean, I understand why, right? They were adding a condition that the content builder, whatever the condition builder can't build. So you got to use Apex. I get that. I do not need, nor do I think you need to learn how all the Apex works. However, there's I guess we're going to walk our way through it, that there's a class implements this use case. So it's pulling in some Apex security condition that probably already exists, I guess. Evaluate the object in terms of Boolean value. The return Boolean determines if the policy
Dominic,
triggers true or false.
I'm about to pick up my kids, so I have to drop.
Okay, no worries.
We'll
It's
try to get
live. It's recorded on Zoom on my channel for the
Okay.
most recent live. If you want to catch us chatting
Thank
about
you.
it. You got it. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
And Jen said something to us before that she said that going through it and collaborating on this. Do y'all find this helpful, Chen and Patrick and everybody else that's not listed on this call that you can't see? Like,
Yeah.
I like the talking about it. It brings things to life and it makes it easy somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. It cements it more because you just read it. A lot of times you just read it.
I zone
it's
out when I
close.
read. If I have to read it out loud, I don't zone out as much because I'm forced to read out loud. But if you're zoning out and you want to read it out loud, you're more than welcome to. So before we talk about when your Apex class will actually execute, let's recap how Transact security works. When an event occurs that's supported by Transact security because you bought the subscription, the event checks to see if any policies exist for that event. That makes sense, right? It's checking the condition to see if it's got to do something. There's a match. There's the policy executes either Apex or condition builder with the logic. And if it meets the criteria, true always triggers action. Always, always, always. Blah, blah, blah. Now you practice creating policies that track report usage. I'm not practicing this time. I'm going to follow the instructions. Get ready for the hands-on challenge. Let's see. I got to make a few changes to the code. Okay, great. So I copied the code. And then I'm going to retake the challenge to get the instructions. I'm going to do this one if they're not administrators from exporting more than 100 records. Okay, we enabled that. Create a Transact security policy using Apex. So let's do that. So now we got to go back. I wonder if the other one's got to be closed, whatever. I don't know. So the event is going to be a report event. And the Apex class, new empty Apex class. Okay. That makes some sense to me. I don't understand yet how to create Apex classes and stuff, but I kind of get the idea that that's a class is that chunk of code, I guess, right? Is that a good way to say it? So the action is going to be a block action, an email notification, and in-app, block large data export. So we want both of these. And finish. Did I enable it? I hope I didn't enable it. No, it's not enabled. Okay. Edit the auto-generated block large data dedicated class. How do you do that? Let's see how it says to do that. So see what that is. Do I do it in here or do I do it in Apex class? Let's see. So I guess now they didn't really say. From the transaction policy, click on the prevent Apex. This brings you to a setup page. You can edit the Apex class. Really? What do I click on? Prevent large data export condition. Okay. Duh. It's got to follow the actual instructions. Class body. Oh, I got to hit edit first, right? Right on. Whoops.
No, don't.
What's that?
I thought you deleted it.
No, I just got to go copy it. Copy that. All right. So this is a global class block export event condition implements that. So if the event, so let's look at that piece that I ignored before. Modify the Apex code. Let's see. How do we modify the Apex? Find the code. Let's look at that. So report event, return, evaluate, report event. Not when null. So that said when null. I kind of get the logic behind it. So let's see. Find the code. First, the code gets the profile of the user who triggered the event by executing SQL query on the profile and user objects. So that's the. Let's see, what am I replacing now? See, I blew past this code. I replaced the code. Now, so they don't have we're going to say this is not the data steward. We're going to call that the system administrator, and it's going to be 100 records, I think. The prevent large class implements this use case. It's examine the basic structure. So prevent large data export event condition class implements the security event condition Apex interface. Okay. That interface requires a method called evaluate. The method takes an object parameter, returns a Boolean value. The return Boolean value determines if the policy triggers true or false. All right. If the evaluate method, a switch statement transforms the passed in object into an event using a switch statement, which means that this name method can handle multiple event types. In our example, this name report event. The report event is then passed to a helper method called evaluate report event. This is where condition testing happens. All right. So inside the evaluate report event, that's where you implement this with conditions. First, the code gets the profile of the user who triggered the event there. So it's a get event, right? So we got to get the code. And we want to replace it. What did I do wrong? Let's see. Whoops. Okay. So where ID.
If you leave
What's that?
it, if you leave it, you see if below take policy action only if, hold on, where does it say the policy?
You have a double semicolon.
Yeah, so there's like profile name contains status store. So if you replace that with system administrator.
Here?
No, below if.
There, right?
No, I don't think that's just instructional. Because the double slash, if you go up 3 lines below
Hang on,
where
wait.
you are now. You see, if it goes 3 lines below, go down, go to line 25.
Oh. Oh, okay. So we want this to say,
System administrator.
modify the method to modify, evaluate, report event. I'm just copying and pasting it just to make sure.
And then the next row event, row process, you should add a 0 because it says 10 right now, right here. No greater than 100.
Is that everything got to change? So
I
replace
think
existing.
so.
Okay. So the method of to modify is evaluate, report event. That one there. Is that, where's the method to modify?
Well, it already says when report event, return.
That one?
Well, it already says a report event.
Okay. It says evaluate, report event. What does this say? Okay. So it already says it. Okay. I get you. This is why I don't like doing it, because my brain goes, what? Let's just save that. And then enable it. Block large data export policy. Let's see. So it's one of those instances where they have you do it one way in the instruction, but in the challenge, it's a little bit different. I don't know why they put, if the method to it passed, hooray. But the method to modify, here's what I don't get. Why would they give the instruction method to modify if it doesn't change? And what this is,
I know why.
this is what you got to change. System administrator and 100 records. I get it. Okay. Forget it. We got it done. Happy as a clam. We're all done with this one. What are your questions, comments, or concerns so far? Anything?
Yeah, just nothing really. It's just because it's because it was you copied and pasted the code above, and it's if you were to edit the code that auto generates, you will have to modify the evaluate, report event.
Oh, but they already did it for me in the exercise.
Yeah.
It's not the original code like this one.
Yeah, it's not the original one that it generates when the auto generated one. Yeah.
Oh, right. Auto generate one. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then huzzah. Let's see. Whoops. All right. Well, look, we're a hour in. So let's go to the next one. This one I am not done with. Whoops. This one I have not completed.
You sound disappointed.
I started it. I started it, but I never got around to it. I had meetings thrown on my calendar, and the dog made a mess, and dog ate my homework, and everything went bad. So, but did we start this one last week, right? Did we not start it last week or no?
I believe you guys did. I think I dropped out by then.
Yeah, I do. I think we actually did do some of this last week. So what I think I just did in here. We started it last week, but I'm going to take and pick it up for this week because we're continuing on, to be honest. So what did we get? We got the session-based. Yeah, we went through this. We looked at the session-based security sets. Did we complete it? I don't remember if we completed this or not. We'll find out in just a second, folks. I obviously didn't complete it because I would have had the completed thing on it. So I know I'm going to get a, yeah. So there we go. So we did what are session base? Create a flow that activates the okay. So we didn't get to I think we talked about it, but we just didn't do it. And I'm not going to play this guy's video. I think I was listening to that guy. Oh, yeah. This is another 30 minutes. So I got a question for you guys. Do you, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take and I'm going to stop the live. So this is going to be it for the live stream for this one.